Individual Black Women at Work. It's the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, My Sister's Keepers forum that we're having today. A lot of great information coming forth from both the audience and the organizers. You gotta listen in.
We're bringing together today ladies that have been affected by the Great Recession, and we know that in one way or another all of us have been affected in a negative way. We hope to have ladies to tell their stories. Some have lost their homes to foreclosures. There are women that have retired and have had to go back to work because the decrease in the value of their annuity. But there'll be all kinds of stories, and we hope to be able to hear those today and to be able to share those with our legislators so that they're more aware of what we're going through as Black women. We hope that they will be able to pass legislation that will make things better for us and that will put us in a better economic position.
The subject of this presentation is to make us aware and bring us into focus in terms of really what's going on. And as I present the information, you can agree with me with what's going on. Let me start with my executive summary with 4 main points. Women make up nearly 50% of the U.S. workforce. The number of women are growing as a family breadwinner. Women own 30% of small businesses, and yes, small businesses help our economy.
How do you support someone who is trying to make a difference in the community while at the same time having a small business to make that happen? So I would say I need support as a sole proprietor right now, and eventually I'll be able to hire because I'm trying to create jobs.
Just to name a few barriers that we as women face. White women make 77 cents for every dollar the white man makes. Black women make only 64% of every dollar that the white man makes.
The impact of the downturn in the economy has changed my life in a quite interesting way. I actually got laid off. I searched around in the job market for quite a while and wasn't really getting a lot of play. Tweaked my resume several different ways, and I also had a lot of conversations with myself. And I thought about going back to school. It seemed like a very appropriate time for me to think about retooling my professional skills and putting some more tools in my toolkit, if you will, and have enrolled in Mills College in a public policy program. So that's one of the ways that I believe it will help me, one, to continue my education, but also to really increase my skills and my marketability.
And we pay more for health insurance, health care, and have jobs with lesser benefits. Women entrepreneurs have harder times accessing capital to sustain or to grow our business. There's 2.2 million women actually fall victim to domestic violence, resulting in the loss of wages. In 2010, we had 23.2 working mothers. Because of unfair wages are paid to women, it hurts the entire family.
My grandsons, are not able to find housing within the San Francisco area, and they've had to move out into the counties, which really, the jobs are still here in the city, but them moving outside of the city has affected them, so they do count on their grandmother more. I do more for them, I have them over, and also I think in a way that has affected me is because I, like I say, being retired, but I have a home, and them not being able to afford property here in the city. I think that's something that the president can do something about, and the mayor of the city of San Francisco also could do something about providing affordable housing in San Francisco for people who are in the age under 40 years of age. who've gone to school, got an education, but cannot afford housing in the city.
Women continue to be the primary caretakers to children and elderly family members. Professional caretakers are mostly 90% women of color.
My point is that women, we are sisters keepers. I found a couple of friends who would babysit for me here and there, and I went on to law enforcement, which has carried me through good benefits, Social Security and retirement. Concern also is to help with the women who have young children who need help. We need to be advocates for them. They need food for their small children. They need jobs also, and they need us as the elderly women to help and speak to them of being a woman and how you're able to help yourself.
The data shows us that communities of color are substantially less likely than their white fellow citizens to enjoy the opportunities that come from having a good job, owning a home, having a financial safety net in the form of health insurance, retirement benefits, and private savings.
It's about social change. ARP is about social change. It's about collaborating, and not just collaborating for the sake of collaboration, but for bringing people together so that we can amplify one another's voices and one another's issues and struggles and challenges and successes. And so what I encourage folks to do is not just be a part of your own group and your own network, but take your entire group and partner, be a part of, volunteer for other organizations. And so
Sisters always are there for one another in many different ways. And I believe an organization such as the Coalition for 100 Black Women is one key one key organization that supports women to be their best and to live their best. So I am totally thrilled with the opportunity to connect in with like-minded women that are working together to really help us all have a good life.
The difference exists because economic opportunity eroded faster for communities of color during the Great Recession. And these opportunities are coming back much slower for, obviously, communities of color. Slower job growth leaves communities of color in a deep economic hole. African Americans enjoy fewer job opportunities than other groups. The unemployment rate for African Americans is 2 times that of white Americans.
And in talking to my social worker and others in the employment field, they are now seeing more and more people with higher education, 10, 20, 30 years of experience, applying for general assistance, applying for food stamps. And so I have to say that because I have a child and I went through my 99 weeks of unemployment, they call us the 99-weekers. I was forced to acknowledge that I had to, even though I was getting funds through the state of California because I adopted my son, it just wasn't enough. So I said my prayers. I thought about my mother in heaven who had been a social worker, and I said, I'll just have to bite the bullet. And I applied. And so what I can tell you that needs to happen from a public policy standpoint is, as a part of the CalWORKS system, at least in Solano County, it varies all over the state, 58 counties, but at least in their county, they decided that individuals that wanted the cash aid, CalWORKS funds, that for 6 months, while you were on the aid, you had to work or volunteer, volunteer 30 hours a week if you were a single parent. If it was a 2-parent family, it was like 35. And I had the joy and challenge of working for a wonderful nonprofit, a homeless sort of shelter and health services sort of agency in Vallejo. And they worked my butt off. Let me tell you, as a consultant, I would have been charging them $1.50 an hour. But I was getting paid $4.61 an hour when you divided my cash aid by 120 hours a month. Anyway.
The data also says that African Americans and Latinos swell the ranks of minimum wage earners. Household incomes have fallen drastically for African Americans since the recession. The wealth gap widened sharply due to the housing market weakening. Home ownership disappeared fastest for African Americans during the recession and the recovery. Communities of color at the highest risk of losing homes for foreclosures.
What I would suggest for anyone that is going through a foreclosure process or about to, or anyone that you know, is to contact your local HUD agency, and also take that cloak of shame off, because you're not in it alone.
So you need to start organizing your community, or going out and reaching out to a community organization that will help you do that and make the banks pay.
Retirement plan coverage continued to decline in the African American communities. African Americans without health insurance in 2010 was 20.8% compared to 11.7% for whites without insurance during the same time period. In order to enable Black women and their families to regain their economic footing in the wake of the Great Recession, we need public policy.
One of the things that came across to me is that what we need to start doing is we need to start hiring each other. Even if you hire someone, people that are in positions, in any kind of nonprofit positions or something like that, or businesses, if you gave somebody a job for like $1,000 for a couple of months or something, it makes all the difference in the world in terms of their emotional state of being and everything else moving forward. It's important that we stick together, that $50, $100, $200, I mean, I'd be willing to babysit for somebody. I have grandkids, I love kids, you know? It makes all the difference in the world, and I just want to thank you very much for your time and allowing me to express this. And hopefully some of the comments will be picked up by the legislators. Thank you. There are solutions. So that's what I think this age group, my age group, should be about in helping the sisters.
I think one of the key things that we as a nation are forgetting about is the importance of education. Whether you're going to a four-year college or you're going through the trade track, we've got to educate our folks, whether it is our young folks or our older, mature folks. That is, I believe, the essential piece that will allow us to continue to move forward as a strong nation.
This has really been a wonderful day, and not only because so many people came to enjoy our day and obtain the information that we were able to impart to them, the wonderful speakers, the wonderful members in the chapter who worked so diligently to make it a success.